Hello and welcome to this guide for Kerbal space program, where I'm going to be just showing you a few tips on how I get to the moon, also known as Mun. This was requested from a YouTuber that asked for some tips on how to get there because he was struggling to find a way. But what I do is you have to make a ship that's got enough power to push the weight, hold the weight, but as well as have enough fuel. And I think the heavier the ship, the quicker the fuel goes down as well. So this is what I made. It's got a middle part, as you can see, and it's got 9 engines around it. Well, 8 around the middle one, but at the moment the middle one isn't actually fired. That's because that'll come into it later on. On the outside there's 4 with 2 big tanks and a little tank. They're the first ones to go, which will be separated soon, right there. And then there's these ones that have 2 of them have 3 tanks and 2 of them have only 2 tanks. They'll each get separated at different times as well, just to lose the weight of the dead engines and tanks. So what you want to do is keep going just straight up. You might need some RCS because it helps a lot to control it as well in space and keep it steady, taking off, launching. So you just keep it going until the dial says orbit, not surface, which should be just in that sort of dark blue area on the atmosphere meter. So yeah, just wait for that. Okay, now you just want to pull the throttle back a bit, because if it's on full and you try to maneuver, it just goes out of control. So you just move it into a sort of little degree, then steadily, as you can see, the arc is increasing the tiniest bit because there's not much power. But you want to get it into a 45-ish degree angle on this ball, or to the right. Make sure it's to the right as well. You just keep it in between 45 and 0 all the time throughout creating the orbit. So what you do is just have it at an angle, just like that. There's them 2 empty ones gone. And when it's ready, just about there, you just steady yourself, get everything ready, and power up to 100% again, and you should see the arc increase a lot. So RCS, just turn it off at the time because it wasted a lot of RCS fuel while going into proper orbit. You don't have to be in a really good orbit to get to the moon. I find it's just a waste of fuel to try and get it into a perfect orbit. You only really need to get into but you don't even actually need to get it into a full orbit, just enough to get you into position. So there's them with the 2 gone. Put RCS back on because it might start spinning, because now it's just one long rocket. So it's steadily going up there. Now you see where the moon position is, and make sure you want to thrust to the moon when there's a moon, what do you call it? Moonrise. So it's here. So just warp this a bit until get into orbit. Takes its time, you've just got to be patient. It's going a bit faster now. All this space junk around the planet off my other flights. Just don't know how to get rid of it. Okay, that'll do. Just shut down the engine, right. Then get the moon lined up to the edge of the planet, and then just warp until you see it rising on this view, till you get just to the edge of the planet. Right, then stop again and get into position following the yellow dot. So you just try and go into the middle of that yellow dot. Try and keep it steady. Okay. Now as soon as you see the moon starting to rise, you thrust. There, whoa, to 100%. And now you'll see the orbit getting wider and wider in a few minutes. Yeah, it takes a lot of fuel and quite a long time, really. So just keep going until your orbit just overlaps the orbit of the moon. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Just separate that from there. Run out of fuel. Right, slow it down a bit. Now, right, then go to about half there. And just go over the line about an eighth. So if you miss it on your first approach, you'll get it on the way back. So it's always best to go that little bit extra. Then just wait. Skip this bit just so you don't have to wait for ages. Right, so just speed it up until you get closer to the middle of this green line, which is the orbit of the moon, which you'll be automatically put on once you get next to the moon, because the gravity will take over. Nearly that'll do. About halfway through to the middle, and you just want to find the moon wherever it is, turn it the right way, see which way you're heading, that way. So we go around it right, so we want to turn left, fire to the left. Right, that should do. And then you should see this getting smaller and smaller. We want to get it about to 100 or 50,000 and then cut it again. That'll do, that'll do. 130, that's fine. This rocket that I made hasn't got quite enough fuel, it just makes it to the moon. So I would recommend not copying my designs. You can if you want, but it's not the best. Okay, now just go into orbit of the moon, just start orbital injection now. So what you want to do is line up with that yellow thing again, but make sure it's the right way, and then burn. You should see the green lines bending more, so you just wait for them to turn into an orbit. Just check the fuel now and again, make sure you've got plenty left. Okay, now it's in orbit. But you don't want to go too wide of the moon because you get pulled back to Earth as soon as you go a few thousand meters from the moon. Right. Just speed it up a little bit to get closer, till you get closer. And so once you're about there, you spin to the yellow mark again, put your SES on. I think it's S, is it? I'm not sure. Then just burn again, 100%, until it reaches 0. There we go. So turn that off. Now we'll roughly land a few about where that white dot is, just because of the way it works really. Right. Then just keep it steady at the same position and burn a little bit. I'm just going to burn a little bit, you don't have to, but just to get it a bit closer. Then just speed it up until you get quite close. A little bit more. I wouldn't recommend landing on the dark side of the moon because you can't see much, but it doesn't matter in the case of this video. Right, now you just want to use the yellow dot as a guide again and full burn from now on. From now on you're just going to be burning most of the time, just to get that your speed down so you don't just smash into the planet. Moon. That's what I mean about this. Fuel hasn't got much fuel, this rocket, because as you can see it's running out already. I'm going to modify it to make it better, but I did want to risk it for this video. I wanted to keep it as it was, because I knew it got there. Just slowing down more. Looks like we're coming in pretty fast. We are, but it'll slow down in time. So the fuel's out now, so eject that. There goes my lander. And my module that keeps it steady, so I've got to try and do it manually, which is a pain. So it doesn't want to do it a lot. Got to make tiny adjustments. There, I lost it a bit there. Went a bit crazy. Right, now you want to get it lined up with the dot on the ball. Well, just follow the yellow, but try and get as vertical as you can. Keep going about 10 meters per second. Just slowly going down here. 5,000 meters. I want to slow down a little more, so I'll put the thrust on a little more as well soon. It's hard trying to keep it on the yellow. That's why I strongly advise you to have an SCS module equipped, which was on me lander, but I had to duff it because I didn't have enough fuel. And there we go, I just skipped it because the videos all got corrupted and it crashed anyway, but it worked. If you can make a better rocket, you can make a cleaner landing, but there you go. Landing on the moon. You can have a look at my other videos which will show you a better way of doing it with mods. But there you go, and stupid debris. So hope this helped you, and thanks for watching.